Hello and welcome to another match preview show on Football Talk Podcast. My name's Ozzy and I'm your host for today's show. We're heading into match week 2 as Liverpool face a game at Anfield against Brentford this Sunday. The kickoff time will be 4:30 p.m. UK, so I'm looking forward to this one. Both teams have had winning starts to their Premier League campaign as Brentford beat Crystal Palace 2-1. However, they were fortunate in the end to get all 3 points as Crystal Palace had a goal wrongfully chalked off by the officials, with Eze scoring a spectacular free kick from the right-hand side. Liverpool, on the other hand, had a game of two halves against Ipswich Town, with the Reds winning 2-0. We started the game woefully and looked half asleep. Then we woke up in the second half and really hit the ground running, playing some neat and quick possession football, different from what we're used to under Jurgen Klopp. But I like what I'm seeing, and I'm excited with how the team evolves under new coach Arne Slot. Both clubs have been in dialogue in recent weeks when it comes to transfers, as Brentford have signed Fabio Carvalho for a deal worth £28 million, and it also looks like they're on the verge of completing a deal for Sepp Vandenberg for £30 million. So we'll touch on transfers later in the show and discuss Liverpool's inactivity in the market. But for now, we will present the team news for both teams, and we'll start with the home team in terms of Liverpool. No injury concerns for Liverpool, which is always great to hear, as Arne Slot has a fit squad available to choose from. But it remains to be seen if Joe Gomez is selected, who is also being linked with a move away from the club. Brentford, Aaron Hickey and Rico Henry are unavailable at the moment due to injury, so it looks like Aya will continue to be a makeshift left back for the coming weeks. Joshua Da Silva and new signing Igor Thiago are out with long-term injuries. Ivan Toney is not expected to be involved as he's set to move away from the club, with Saudi Arabia being the most likely destination. So what we'll do, we'll present the predicted lineups for both teams, and I'll give you my score prediction, and we'll also touch on transfer updates as well. So let's begin. I said the home team, that's the wrong one. So let's do the home team. So with regards to Liverpool, no sort of debate in terms of who goes in goal. It is Alisson. Left back for me is a debatable one. I would personally want to see Tsimikas start. I think he's more suited with the type of football that Arne Slot wants to play. Robertson, as great he is on the ball, for me, just seems to have lost a yard of pace and lacks that energy to bomb down the left flank. Tsimikas, on the other hand, is energetic and produces decent balls in the final third as well. So my personal choice would be Tsimikas, but based on the previous game, I think he might stick with Robertson. So I'm going to go with Robertson on the left side, and in the centre back role, obviously Van Dijk, our captain, will start in this game. Interesting who will partner in the centre back. Kwanzaa was substituted at half time as Arne Slot wasn't pleased with his performance, suggesting that he was losing a lot of aerial duels, which was factual, but I didn't think it was that bad at the time. But looking back, I can't understand why Arne Slot did that. And look, credit to the new coach. Some may say Jurgen Klopp would not have done that because he's known to be sentimental with certain players and the squad in general. So it's good to see that we have a coach that is literally just thinking tactically and isn't too concerned about the personnel or hurting anyone's feelings or anything with that regards. So in this sort of high level of football, it is cutthroat. So I like the fact that he took that on board, especially in his first competitive game as Liverpool coach, and didn't hesitate with that decision. So fair play to him, and it actually helped Liverpool get the win in the end. So for me, Konate will be the player that comes in to the team. So yeah, if he is able to produce the performance he did last week, and from what we have seen over the years, I think Konate will remain as a mainstay in the back four. So for this game, I will definitely start him alongside Van Dijk. And for me, right back, Trent Alexander-Arnold begins his role there as well. So that's the back four. In terms of the double pivot, we don't have a wealth of options, to be fair. Apparently, if you're reading the rumor mill right now, Bajtic and Tyler Morton look set to be leaving the club. Tyler Morton apparently is being sold. I don't know who the club is, but apparently he's leaving on a permanent deal, and there's suggestions that Bajtic will be going out on loan. So no incomings, but the club are very adamant in reducing the numbers of the squad for whatever reason. We'll soon find out, as I'm sure with the coming days of the transfer window closing, we'll see what position we are altogether. But in terms of options, you've got Gravenberch, McAllister, Curtis Jones could play in that role. Endo, I think those are the 4 options that you can really select for that double pivot. So maybe I would say Trent should stake a claim in that role. If we don't sign number 6, he will actually be a viable option going forward. So can't rule it out. But at this stage, I'm sticking with Gravenberch, who for me was my man of the match last week against Ipswich Town. I thought he was phenomenal. And I know a lot of fans have played his performance down due to the opposition, with it being a newly promoted team. That's not fair on Gravenberch. You've got to play in terms of what you have in front of you. And last year was always going to be a season for him where he was trying to find himself again in terms of playing first team football. He wasn't able to do that at Bayern Munich. So looked a bit rusty at times last season. Obviously, he had a few injuries which didn't help with his development. But what impressed me was the neat touches on the half turn after receiving the ball from the centre back and spraying passes around the pitch. Now, that might sound very simplistic, but when you're a number 6, whether you're in a single pivot or double pivot, that is your role in the team, to make the game as simplistic as possible, not to complicate it with Hollywood passes everywhere or just losing possession. Your job is to keep hold of the ball, keep possession, which is going to be Arne Slot's strapline in terms of that is what he expects from his players. And if Gravenberch is producing those kind of performances, I don't think we should disregard it just because of the level of opposition. I think that's unfair on him. So for me, I thought it was really good, and long may it continue. At this stage, it doesn't look like we're signing anyone, and that's just being brutally honest. So he looks good in that position. It's a position he's played before. He really shined in the Ajax team playing in double pivot. So for me, it suits his skill set. So he remains in the team for me. And then I've got McAllister alongside him as well. On the right wing, not a lot of debates. To be fair, he hasn't really got anyone challenging for that right wing position. So always the first name on the sheet due to lack of competition, but obviously quality as well. Obviously, still one of our top performers. On the left, I'm sticking with Diaz. A lot of fans have had a lot to say about Luis Diaz since last weekend, suggesting that he's not that guy for us. He's poor when it comes to shooting in front of goal. Yes, obviously it's an area that he really needs to improve on because he gets into so many good goal scoring opportunities, but his conversion rate is not great. So yes, of course, I would definitely agree with that sentiment. However, you have to be in those positions to find yourself in goal scoring opportunities, and a lot of wingers aren't able to do that at times, especially if your objectives or you're given tactics to attack that byline. So he does well to attack the byline and cut in and produce shots from outside the box, but it's definitely an area he needs to improve. At this stage, I still think he's probably the best that we have. Cody Gakpo is definitely on the wings in terms of rivaling for that position in the starting lineup, but I feel like Diaz just edges him a little bit in terms of his work rate and sort of that unexpected skill that he has as an attacking winger. So for me, he remains in the team. And a lot of fans are throwing the name of Anthony Gordon, suggesting that he would be a better option for Liverpool going forward. For me, Anthony Gordon is not in the same bracket as Luis Diaz. So I'm not sure why the Anthony Gordon train is so loud right now, especially if you're on social media. I'm not one of those fans. Look, Anthony Gordon is a decent player, but he's not at this level whatsoever, and that's just my opinion. So yeah, everyone's got their opinion in terms of players that they like and stuff. For me, Diaz is head and shoulders above Anthony Gordon, but we'll discuss that another time. We can discuss that, and our chance for talk show next week as well. I'm hoping there's a lot more to talk about because right now it's slightly quiet from a incoming point of view rather than outgoings. A lot of noise in regards to outgoings, so it remains to be seen what Liverpool do in the transfer window next week. In the number 10 role, I would go with Szoboszlai. I know a lot of fans would like to see Harvey Elliott given a chance there, but for me, this is Szoboszlai's position. I was really impressed with his performance against Ipswich. First half, not so much. Gave the ball away on numerous occasions and just wasn't in line with the game. And second half, he really improved. He did an interview after saying that it was too early for him or for the team, especially as an opening game and it being a midday kickoff. So, of course, it does have an impact, in terms of your training before the game and just making sure you're alert and stuff like that. So, he didn't use it as an excuse, but he just said that could be one of the reasons in terms of why we wasn't so impactful in the first half. But nevertheless, it was the first game. Can kind of give them the benefit of the doubt there, especially being a midday kickoff. But no, he performed a lot better in the second half, showed his power and pace. For me, I like to see him take more shots. He gets into great positions where he creates half a yard. I feel like he needs to be a little bit selfish because he is a number 10 in our team now and try and take shots on goal. That is his key asset, I would say. Fantastic striker of the ball. So I'd want to see more goals from Szoboszlai. Like Diaz, but I feel like Szoboszlai, if you probably look at it, probably has a better conversion rate because he was playing a different role last season. But I feel like he has in his locker to really up the tally and being double figures in the Premier League, in my opinion. So let's see. Big praise there. But as you probably all know, I'm a big fan of Szoboszlai. So hopefully he's able to fit the bill this season. Up top, for me, it's not a debate. If this guy's fit, he starts in the team. And that's Diogo Jota, a.k.a. Diogo. So for me, yeah, he is definitely in the lineup. So this is my team here. So drop a comment and let me know what you guys think. Would you make any tweaks? I did mention Tsimikas possibly being one that I would potentially consider if I was the coach. I think the rest of the team kind of names itself due to how they performed last week against Ipswich Town. In terms of possible substitutes that Liverpool could bring on, Darwin Núñez surprisingly didn't get a game last week, so I expect him to get some sort of minutes in this game, maybe in place of Diogo Jota and Gakpo for Diaz at some point. Elliott, I think he'll definitely come on, possibly for Szoboszlai, could even come on for Salah if required, and Curtis Jones probably should come on, give one of the guys in Gravenberch and McAllister a bit of a breather. I think if we don't make any additions, we'll have to manage the minutes of our midfielders very carefully. So don't want to overburn them too much, especially so early in the season. So I think Curtis Jones will probably come on at some stage, and then Tsimikas for Robertson. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 subs there. So yeah, that is the lineup. Drop a comment and let me know what you guys think. Double D, big up Double D for your comment. He says we want Gakpo. Yeah, I think he'll stick with Diaz, but yeah, I do get your sentiment. I know you're a big Gakpo fan as well. For me, I just feel like Diaz has that slight edge on Gakpo in terms of dribbling and just being a bit more impactful on the byline. But look, if we're playing a few more weeks and Diaz is not converting chances, Gakpo has to have a stake in the team because that is one of the differences between the both players. Gakpo is more clinical in front of goal and has better impact, whether it comes from crossing or set pieces or even just driving to a box and shooting from distance. He probably has I would say, a step ahead of Diaz in that field. So I wouldn't be all against it. But from what I saw last week, I think Arsenal will probably stick with signing. I wish we were signing someone. We'll stick with Luis Diaz in the starting lineup. So yeah, remains to be seen who gets that left wing position against Brentford. Speaking of Brentford, let's do their lineup right now as the away team. So I don't think there'll be any huge sort of wholesale change. Obviously, they've got Aaron Hickey, and they've also got what's his name, Rico Henry, the left back, unavailable for this game. Rico Henry would have started in this fixture, so he's not available. So Aya would come in. He played as a makeshift left back last week against Crystal Palace. So Glecken in goal, and then you've got Aya as your left back there, and then Pinnock, despite scoring an own goal last week, will remain in the starting lineup. He's one of their mainstay defenders, alongside Collins, who was involved in that little tussle with Will Hughes, which led to Eze's free kick being disallowed. So he will start against Liverpool as well, I think. And then go Roslev in the right back position there. So that's the back four. Now, in terms of the midfield, pretty much mainstay names, I would say. So Norgard on the right side, then you've got Janelt there, and then you've got Jensen as well. So that'll be the midfield three, a very solid midfield three, midfield that is not sort of there to produce eye-catching performances. They are on the pitch to be industrious and cause havoc in terms of pressing and blocking any attacks coming through the middle of the park. So that will be their responsibilities there. Up top, and Mbeumo on the right wing, a player that, just to put it out there, wouldn't mind Liverpool signing. I think it'd be a fantastic addition to our squad as Salah's backup. But obviously, he'll still get game time and looks decent as a striker as well, so would be a good option. But not sure if that's the case. Wissa, who's recently been linked with a move to Wolves. Not sure why that is the case, because he's the main man now. He's not an impact sub anymore. He will lead the line for Brentford. And off the left, you've got Shade. I don't know how you pronounce his name. On the left wing, he's an interesting player. I liked what I saw from him. Glimpses, to be fair. He didn't play a lot of games last season for Brentford, but he's an exciting left winger and definitely a ball carrier, good dribble of the ball, and can shoot from distance as well. So he'll definitely be one to look out for. Probably an unknown commodity to a lot of fans. And Wissa, for me, will be kind of like Jota, where he will not stand up there to up against the centre backs, but he will attack the lines and is dangerous in the attacking box. So for me, need to be aware of him. And Bremo, lots of pace on the ball, but very physical, very strong, and has a good shot on him as well. So not easy opposition. Attacking wise, I feel like they've got a good balance there. Midfield, really solid. And back four, the weak area is definitely Aya, who's a centre back by trade, not used to playing fullback at all. So that would be an area we would definitely need to exploit. So as I mentioned, Mohamed Salah starting, Trent Alexander-Arnold. So they'll play a role, and that's probably why I added Konate to my team as well, because with Konate, he can cover the ground for Trent, and Salah can come a bit more infield, and then Trent will attack on this side. And I want him to charge down that flank like he did in the Ipswich game in the second half, and whipping crosses for the likes of Jota and then Diaz coming in that side as well. So from a tactical point of view, we definitely need to invade their left-hand side and exploit it as much as possible. So that would be a tactical approach for Liverpool. In terms of Brentford, if they wanted to switch it up a little bit and play a 4-2-3-1 formation, which they have done in the past, maybe they're trying to nick a goal at the end or just have a different approach, I think they could switch to a 4-2-3-1 formation and in regards to that. I can see a former Red taking that number 10 role, and that's Fabio Carvalho playing in his natural position behind the striker, and this will be the setup. So you got Yana and Norgard in double pivot, and Bremo Shard on the left, Fabio Carvalho in number 10, and we set up top. So that could be an alternative formation for Thomas Frank, but I do expect him to play this 4-3-3 formation. So yeah, that is my predicted lineup. So drop a comment, let me know what you guys think. In terms of score prediction, no surprise in terms of who I think the winner will be. It will be a home win, and I believe the scoreline will be 3-0 to Liverpool. I got my scoreline prediction last week correct. I predicted 2-0, so hopefully I got one for this week as well. And I believe Salah and Jota will score. Well, Salah will score 1 and Jota will score 2 goals in this fixture. So that's my score predictions there. Now, before we conclude the show, just wanted to quickly touch on transfer updates. So it's been pretty much official now. Not official from the Liverpool point of view, but in terms of respected journalists online have confirmed that St. Vandenberg has agreed to join Brentford. The fee is 25 million up front, and I believe there's add-ons that will result or add to 30 million altogether, which is a fantastic deal. Let's not kid ourselves. A player that hasn't been involved in the first team whatsoever, signing all those years ago, and yeah, we've made 30 million off him just like that. So yeah, credit where credit is due. Well done to Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards on that one. Bayer Leverkusen also agreed a deal with the player, but unfortunately they needed to sell a player in order to facilitate the move. So time was not the essence for Xabi Alonso and his team. So it looks like they will need to pursue other targets now. Also, we've got a young player leaving in Harvey Blair. He's set to move to Portsmouth for 300k. The 21-year-old attacker is set to make his move to the Championship. Probably the right move, to be fair, at this stage of his career. He's 21 years old, as I mentioned, and he needs to be playing first-team football, which unfortunately is not a realistic target at our club. So, having said that, we wish him all the best at his new club for this season. Also, some news we got last night was the fact that the club are listening to offers for Ben Doak and Tyler Morton on permanent deals, which really surprises me. Ben Doak has huge potential to become a top player, in my opinion, and he's still very early in his development. So to suggest that he's available for a permanent move would mean that the club don't rate him anymore, which bemuses me, if I'm being honest. And I thought this would have been the perfect season for Tyler Morton to get his opportunity in the first team after a couple of long spells with Blackburn and Hull City. And I really expected him to have provided cover for the midfield positions. But unfortunately, it looks like the club would rather make a profit than give the youngster an opportunity. And I have to be honest, guys, I'm very concerned by the outgoings from the club. It's all good and well from a business point of view, but it's not something we've witnessed before. And the manner it's happening is very strange. It reminds me of when you're playing FIFA career mode and you're managing a smaller team where you don't have a big budget. And in order to raise funds, you're selling as many players as possible. Is that what's happening at Liverpool? Why are we acting like a broke club? Are we going to make even any signings this window? Rhetorical questions, but there's no further indication from the club to suggest that these things will happen. We have 8 days left of the window as it closes next Friday. I've voiced my concerns with regards to Richard Hughes. On paper, yes, he's been busy with generating revenue for the club with all the sales that they're making, but the team needs further additions to strengthen the squad in order to compete in all competitions. Why we just focus on the business aspect of operations, but disregard to address what's important, and that is investment on the pitch. I did a Liverpool Transfer Talk show last night to discuss all the rumours circulating. So if you haven't watched it, please make sure to watch it on our channel. Since last night, there has been some further news or speculation, I should say. One name that has come up in sort of random fashion is Lookman from Atalanta for a reported 60 to 70 million euros. Now, this player was not so long ago playing for the likes of Everton and not really getting much game time. Obviously, he's gone over to Atalanta and he's really flourished and had a fantastic campaign for them last year, winning the Europa League. But for that fee, that is wild. I'm not buying that. I think that's a ridiculous amount for a player who's on the verge of turning 28 in the coming months. For me, that makes sense. I don't know why we're targeting the left wing position so tough. The right wing is the position that needs to be addressed, but for some reason, the club just feel like that's an area that needs strengthening. So someone hasn't got their head screwed on, in my opinion. Arsenal have also been linked with the player, but they're offering 50 million plus another player in the return, which is Kirill, the Polish left back there. So that's one news there. I don't think there's any truth to it. I just think it's paper talk. Another one that concerns me, because I don't rate the player, is Adrien Rabiot on a free transfer. Now, if we were to sign him, that would be a shocking signing, to say the least. There's nothing positive about the player. He's slow. His passing is bang average. He's negative in his play. He does not fit our team or our system altogether. So for me, this is a ridiculous rumor, and I really hope, we're not in desperate times and then we end up going for a free transfer like a Rabiot to come through the door. For me, that's not acceptable. I think that he would be a poor signing. That's why, for me, France were quite woeful in midfield in the Euros, to be fair. They should have played Camavinga in his position, and then it would have been a different team altogether. So, yeah, as you can tell, clearly don't rate the player. So, hopefully, there is no truth to the rumour. Honestly, I really hope the club surprises us with a few signings next week. But being a realist, I have no faith in this club to add more players to the team. Right now, it feels like a fire sale to raise funds. For what purpose? I don't know. But we'll have to wait and see what happens next week. And that's the end of the show, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. We're only a few subs away from hitting 300. So if you can help us achieve that by end of today, that would be fantastic. And the road to 400 subs begin. We'll also got a couple of shows lined up this weekend. On Sunday at 4:20 p.m. UK time, we'll be doing a live watch along of this game. So make sure to tune in and get involved in the live chat. Then on Sunday evening, we'll also be doing a match reaction show at 10 p.m. UK time, which is also a call-in show. So if you'd like to come on and have your say about the game, or you want to discuss any transfer rumors that are circulating, the floor is yours. A link will be pinned in the live chat. And that's it today, guys and girls. Take care, stay safe, and I hope to speak to you all very, very soon. Goodbye.